get started. Why don't we go ahead and have a seat and we'll get rolling here. So I want to thank you all for being here today. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Roger Royce. I'm the founder of the Royce Law Firm. We're a corporate and tax law firm with offices in Northern and Southern California. We have about 12 lawyers now in 3 offices. We are primarily corporate, but we have employment. We have some international people now licensing patent, trademark, securities. And more in our practice, we're seeing international. Primarily on the inbound side, but also on the outbound side as well. And of course, if you've been reading the papers, you know as I do that China is very prominent, especially in this valley. And this is a very timely presentation for that purpose. The idea for this came, we do this series about once a month, once in San Francisco and then one day down here, on a different topic every month. And the last presentation we gave was on international operations generally. And we focused a little more on India and Europe. And after the presentation, I had a lot of people that said, well, what about China? What about China? We're really interested in China. So that was the genesis of this idea. And I guess just anecdotally, to give you a little better idea of why it's important, just even over the weekend, while I was sitting in my office on Labor Day, since it's Labor Day I was working, I got an email out of the blue from someone in China that I'd met at a party somewhere. Said, oh, you know, I'm with this social networking site and I'd like to meet a few people in the Bay Area. Do you know anybody that does social networking? And I said, well, yeah, a lot of companies. He said, well, we're a Chinese social networking site. We'd just like to meet some people, kind of compare stories, understand the market. And I said, well, okay, I can introduce you to a few. I mean, just so it's a rewarding experience for you, what are your metrics? And how many subscribers? 100,000, 500,000? Emails me back, 500 million. Okay, welcome to China. You know, things are so different there that sometimes for us U.S. persons and U.S. lawyers, we really have to adjust the way we think about the markets and the expectations. So typically the way we do this is in panel style. I like to give the panelists an opportunity to introduce themselves, talk a little bit about who they are, what their relevant experience is, and things they want to emphasize here. And then I'd like to open it up to questions. So if you've got something specific that you'd like to talk about, and a few questions, you know, feel free, this is your opportunity. We're getting started a little bit late, so I think what we'll do is we'll go to 1:15, and we'll end the formal presentation, and I'm sure people will stick around to answer a few more questions and chat with you if you'd like to. So, Adam Yin, here in the middle, graduated from Beijing Medical University, but he's a CPA. Got an MBA at the Paul Merage School of Business in UC Irvine. 7 years of experience in the pharmaceutical industry and 5 years of accounting and auditing experience. He's an accountant here in the U.S. Xiao Liu, on the end, is an attorney, licensed in a whole long list of states: California, New York, Illinois, and also China. She has 14 years of transactional and commercial experience, concentrating on China inbound and outbound transactions. She spent 12 years working in large law firms in Chicago, here in the Valley, Hong Kong, and Beijing, before starting her own law office in Cupertino. Justin Smith is with High Street Partners, based in San Francisco. It's an advisory firm where he acts as an advisor to companies that are attempting to navigate the complexity of international operations. His primarily expertise is in transfer pricing and restructuring with some exposure to HR and compliance. So with that, why don't we just start on my immediate left, and Justin, maybe you can talk a little bit about who you are and what your experience with China is.
Thanks, Roger. Thanks for setting this up. Roger mentioned, my name is Justin Smith. I work at High Street Partners. My firm basically helps companies set up international operations. If you wanted to go into China, per se, legal entity set up, run your payroll, run your accounting, do a lot of the basic nuts and bolts operational stuff, and take it out of your hands if you want to. I work more on the advisory side of the business, so my side of the business is more consultative. It's more, you know, you can be strategic. I wanted to go into China, but can you talk to me big picture about what my legal entity options are and what my employment responsibilities are and things like that. It can also be more reactive. I'm in China. You know, I've got a tax issue. You know, I need help with the visa. It can be pretty much anything consultative that you can need to to go abroad and then stay abroad. I manage the advisory practice for the United States. Obviously, being on the West Coast and being in the Valley, we do a lot of business in Asia and in China in particular. My background historically is more on the corporate international tax side. That's been more of my long-term expertise, with a lot of focus on transfer pricing.
Okay, I think we have a handout maybe we can go through by the handout. So I come from Samuel Wang, and we have office in both in New York and in China. So today I'm very glad we have a chance to discuss the opportunities of doing business in China. And as you can perspective, China has a hot spot in economics. China has a great opportunity to business and have a great potential market share. And however, from the point of view of the ease of doing business and starting business and doing business in China is more difficult than other countries. So I think to be more successful in doing business in China, we have to be well prepared, and we can help you about the set up the accounting system, and also including some consulting of the local registration, and also payroll, those kind of service too. And also we have headquarters in the United States, and we can do the same service here.
Hi everyone, and my name is Xiao Liu. I am an attorney as introduced by Roger, and thanks for the opportunity to be here. Thanks, Roger. And I have practiced law for 14 years, and I am admitted to practice law in New York, Illinois, China, and California. Basically, my practice area is corporate law, China-related inbound and outbound transactions, mergers and acquisitions, and contracts. And I focus on outbound practice based on helping companies to set up their entities in China, or draft a contract and negotiate contract with Chinese partners or customers or government, even government also. I help them to do cross-border mergers and acquisitions. And in addition, I advise on legal issues in China. So, and I have some handouts today. So, and probably we can. Do you want us to start to discuss about the some legal issues and the practical solutions first, and then.
Well, why don't we jump right into that? And since this may be the last chance I get to ask the questions, I'll start. And when I think about China, what I hear a lot about are the issues people have with intellectual property and protecting their property. And I understand that the law is somewhat in flux as well as enforcement activities. And I think to start, just so I get my question answered, what's your experience with IP protection? Should we be really concerned about that going into China now and do everything we can to keep everything secret? Or is there better enforcement, better protection now than what there has been in past years?
Yeah, I think most people have the concern that intellectual property protection is a huge concern in China. But actually, for most intellectual property contracts are enforceable in China, like licensing agreement, software development agreement, or some trademark royalty agreement. They are all enforceable in China, and the situation is getting better.